concert in the sanctuary of Bethel Church. Heavy metal. Hard stuff. And God chastened me over that. Whooped me pretty good. And I said, God, it's your church. Handed him the keys. Here you go. You can have it. You just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it. Okay? And so that was God saying, Mike, you don't understand the danger. I do. I know where it's going. I know where it came from. So in a lot of, and I tell people this, in your absence of understanding God, just believe Him. Believe what He said and do what He said. You may not understand. A 3-year-old child cannot in their mind even conceive of why any parent would have a problem with them jumping up and down on the bed. No, I cannot conceive that in my mind as a 3-year-old child. But the parent knows. They know that, number one, that child is more than likely going to beat his head on something in that room. They know that danger is just around the corner. They know that, and they say, stop it. Now, and you never explain to a 3-year-old child, now listen, Johnny, let me tell you exactly what's going to happen. Let me show you the medical bills that's going to... They don't care. They don't believe it. You just tell them, stop. Well, come, because I said so. Now, as they grow older, you start explaining, and that's what God did. He just told me, stop, Mike, stop it. You don't understand the danger. You don't understand where this move comes from. So I did. But as time went on, God began to make me aware of what was going on. That was the 90s, 1996, 97, I think, somewhere around in there. Somebody showed me a bulletin they kept. I announced it, rock and roll for your soul. Ugh. I've apologized to my church several times for this. But that's what I was going to do. And God said no, and I said, okay, God, you're in charge. And then God began to show me. It's just like with the King James Bible. God said, this is my word, it has no errors in it. I accepted that right then and there. I just believed God, even though I didn't understand everything that I understand now. Now I get it. I get it. I look at this book and I say, this is the inspired, inerrant Word of God. And now I can show people. I can go to Horseheads, New York, and show people why it says it's the Word of God, why it says it's inerrant, why it says that it's been preserved and translated right, so that my thinking is just left out of the scene. Now we just see it from the Bible very clearly. And so I began to be aware of a movement called the Emergent Church, or the Emerging Church. And that phrase in itself was pretty interesting. And I'm going, something that is submerged is something that emerges. You don't emerge without being submerged. And I want you to think about that concept. I want you to think about something that rises up from the depths. I want you to ponder that, because when you look at the phrase emerging church, it itself is indicative of something that is under something, under the ground, under the sea, under the water. And it's going to rise up, and it's going to take over the world. And this movement has taken off in spite of the warnings that people have been given, and the work that we've tried to do, Lighthouse Trails Research, other ministries have tried to do this, trying to warn people about it, but it's taking hold. It's in the former denomination, well, it's still the denomination. We're just formally used to be a part of it, the Free Will Baptists. It's in the Southern Baptists, the Nazarene movement. I have friends, followers of this ministry, that one family in particular, man, I tell you what, I wept for them when I heard their story. She told me, she said, we have been part of the Nazarene Church for all of our lives, and now there is not a single church that we can go to anymore. And I've listened. She sent me some CDs and some teachings that she became aware of. All of the Nazarene universities are promoting contemplative prayer and emergent theology and all of this modernity stuff. And she sent me a CD. I listened to one of them, and this guy teaching at a Nazarene gathering was talking about how we need to intuit God's voice, which means that we need to feel it with the creative side of our brain instead of just reading it from the text of the Bible. That's the move that they're trying to make here. Well, this one here really, really caught my eye. You know what? I'm going to add, before I show you this, I'm going to add a graphic. And you know what? I just took it off the other day. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I'm going to show you this graphic. You remember this? I saw this while watching MasterChef UK, The Professionals. And it's a Jenny Craig commercial, and what you're looking at is a 666. You're looking at a hexagon. You're actually looking at three of them, three six-sided figures. And you are being inundated with that imagery. If you have had a chance to watch this week's Watchman broadcast, and let me stop right here. If you've had a chance to watch this week's Watchman broadcast and you don't like the beginning music that I put in there, let me know. Okay? Because they heard it downstairs yesterday for the first time. Alicia and Gary and Kay and Jason and Andrea and Roy and Bonnie and Dee, and they're all down there, and I get a call. And their inwards just shot out of their body when they heard this new music. I mean, it's not anything, it's not a cult, anything like that. They're just going, he changed the music. Oh. So if you don't like it, let me know. I will not get my feelings hurt, all right? I've been experimenting around with some new things and a new look and so on and so on. You know, you're just trying to keep it fresh. Anyway, if you got a chance to watch this week's Watchman broadcast, you know, and I shared this on Pastor Mike Online, the idea of Saturn being like a picture of the wheel within the wheels and the rings in Ezekiel chapter 1, and the hexagon that's on top of Saturn, and what that means. Basically, it represents the number 6 is what it does. And here you have 666. That's what you're looking at right here. This stuff is going into our minds, and it's hitting people in the subconscious level. And I believe that all of these symbols and these images are drawing people. It's called perception without awareness. Your brain picks up on it and can hold the information for a limited time. But the more you're inundated, the more you're flooded with it, the more that there is a shift in your paradigms. And you start thinking the way that it's programming. It's what it is. It is subversive, subconscious programming, getting people to make a decision, which everybody's going to make here before too long. Here is, she sent me this, or he or who, I can't remember who it was, sent me this picture. Pastor Mike, you got to take a look at this. I saw this, and you'll get it. Here's the hexagons. This is from a movement called the Underground Church. Now, I get it. I get it. I understand what this is. But notice the hexagons here, and you have 3 of them prominent right there in front of you. Leadership training course, 3 hexagons right in front of your eyes. 666. And I want you to combine this with what you see there as far as the underground network, the underground movement. Let me show you a little bit of something that I learned about while doing, this goes back a few years when I was doing the research for the Da Vinci Code. I was reading several books that apparently he based his information on. And what I found out was that there is, if you've ever heard of Arcadia, that's something beside a small town in Illinois or Indiana or wherever. There's an Arcadia in a bunch of states across the country. If you've ever heard of Arcadia, there is a painting called The Shepherds of Arcadia. And in this painting, this comes up as far as the artwork and Da Vinci and everything like that. You have these 3 shepherds and a pregnant woman. You can tell she's pregnant. She's got a little pooch in her belly, like mine. But mine's shrinking. Anyway, these three shepherds, and they're standing in front of this coffin. And this woman is standing by the coffin with her pregnant belly. And there's not a whole lot there. There's no writing or anything like that. Well, there is. Et in Arcadia ego. There's a writing on the side of this stone concrete coffin. Et in Arcadia ego is Latin. I think it means I am also in Arcadia, or I myself am in Arcadia. And the shepherd, one of the shepherds, is pointing to the coffin. Now, next week in the Watchman broadcast, I'll show you a little bit of the symbol of the coffin. I'm going to talk about the power of the grave. We're dealing with powers in the fourth kingdom. And the coffin is an interesting idea in the occult and in Freemasonry, secret societies, things like that. There's this idea of a coffin. There's something in that coffin that needs to come out. The coffin represents Arcadia. And you find out that Arcadia is this idea that there has been throughout history an underground stream of mystic knowledge. Let me show you this again. Arcadia represents an underground stream of mystic or secret knowledge that various people throughout history have tapped into this stream or drank from this stream. My appreciation goes to the fellow that came all the way down from Canada to show me in the Bible the two rivers. And once he began to lay it out for me, I'm going, I get it. I get it. There are two streams in the Bible, just like there are two Jesuses in the Bible. There is the stream that flows out of the throne of God. There is, and it's a clear stream. Clear, pure, clear as crystal. Then there is the muddy stream. If you read Ezekiel 32, you'll find the whale that muddies the waters. It is a dirty stream. It is a stream where the secret lies buried. Do you know anything about the word, if I say the word Styx, S-T-Y-X, does that ring a bell to anybody? Yeah, the rock group. Oh, no, I don't listen to that stuff anymore. Styx, supposedly, is the underground river that flows through hell. That's what Arcadia represents, an underground stream of... Now, I'm kind of putting all this together, and this may show up in the fourth kingdom. I don't know where to put it yet. But if you read Genesis chapter 2, you'll find the river Styx. I believe you'll find it there. It's not called Styx. It's called the River Euphrates. And when you look at that in Genesis 2, and then you match it with what you see in the book of Revelation, that in the river Euphrates there are 4 angels bound up in the river that are going to be loosed one of these days. Okay? And by the way, the river Euphrates is the 4th river